I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're unveiling the courageous story of Manal Suleiman Shurafa in her deeply personal book called When Hard Lilies Cry. Over a span of 26 years, the author battled not one, but two cancers while preventing two more, sharing her fears, struggles, and triumphs. Her narrative goes beyond survival, exploring the emotional and psychological battles faced when confronting one's mortality, the impact on family life, and the quest for strength in the most vulnerable of times. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Bookside Press for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her important book. The links are below this interview. Manal, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much for this wonderful introduction.
Pleasure is all mine. Glad to have you on the show. The title of your book is very provocative, When Hard Lilies Cry. Tell us a little bit about what that means.
Actually, I love lilies and I love the way they smell and the way they look. They smell so beautiful and they look so nice. And they survive for a very long time, and they use their inside strength to give this outside beauty and outside beautiful scent to everybody else. So lilies use themselves for everybody else's joy, but not theirs. So this is when the title came to me. And women like lilies, they are very hard inside, but very delicate from the outside. You think that they are so delicate and they cannot really survive so much of what life throws at them, but they can.
Yeah.
And now talking about lilies, I have to talk about men. Men are the opposite. They are like cacti. They look very strong and they are, and they
Yeah.
protect everybody. But inside, they are very delicate. They feel everybody else's pain, but for the sake of everybody else, they don't show their pain because they have to be strong and support everybody. So that's when the name came to me.
All right. Well, I think it's a perfect metaphor for you because, you have a beauty on the outside and on the inside, and you had a lot of strength to go through what you went through. Why did you decide to write about your battle with cancer?
Uh, so many reasons. One of the reasons I would like everybody to hear about it from the perspective of people who go through any calamity. I don't want to call it calamity. Sometimes I call it blessing in disguise because it strengthens people. Every experience strengthens everybody from the inside and out and prepare them to face the next experience or the next blessing in disguise. And really, you have to look really, really hard to see the blessing behind it. And when it's over, and well, it's never over, but sometimes you can step outside of the picture and see it clearer. And then you see how this helps the person who goes through it. And when everybody look at that person, they really don't know the struggle that's going inside. You have to look brave and you have to take all that pain, and you have to raise a family and work and survive. So it is not easy to juggle all this together inside. And I wanted everybody to know what the person who goes through the calamity really feels, so
Yeah.
they understand more how to help them.
Yeah. Live long enough, unfortunately, all of us will have some kind of health struggle, whether it's cancer or heart or kidneys or lungs or whatever it is, unfortunately. That's just part of being human. So to
That is
have this
true.
book, to show your bravery, to show your courage, to show your journey, I think is
That is
important to
true.
folks. Talk to me about this. What was it like having those emotional conversations with your children and your family about your diagnosis and your treatment?
It was so hard. It
Mhm.
was really hard. Um, Funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
After my children grew up and they left the house, and I went over all that treatment, and I asked my children a year, like years after that, how that made them feel. I really want them to write at least one paragraph in my book,
Mm.
and how they feel, how they felt, how they dealt with it as children. They didn't know what to do. You know what? It's funny that they wouldn't look me in the eye.
Mm.
That's how it was still hurting them.
Yeah.
How much in pain they were still after all these years. So we don't mention it now. And if we mention it briefly, we talk about it. But
Yeah.
I don't want to put them through the pain. Actually, the pain I went through, and that's why it took me so long. I have to mention that it took me
Yeah.
26 years to be able to write the book. I always wrote in my laptop and put it aside, and okay, it's done, dealt with, I don't have to deal with it anymore. But it was all building up inside
Mm.
until I wrote it all and I faced it all over again. I wasn't ready to do
Yeah.
that. And when I was ready to do that, that's when I really wrote the book, and it's out.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're glad it's out because it was a struggle you had, but it was a struggle that many people have. And I think by sharing your journey, people will learn from it. What advice do you have for folks who are going through facing a cancer diagnosis right now? What would you tell them?
I would say be true to yourself and to everybody else. Don't keep any emotions inside, because it will hurt you and it will hurt everybody else. And all these people who are around you, you think you protect them, but you really are not protecting them.
Mm.
So put everything out in the open. Speak about your feelings. It's not when you say how mad you are or how angry you are with your divine decree, let's call it, it doesn't mean that this person lost his or her faith in God or in
Mm.
fate. You are actually, when I talked about it, so few of people who are around me thought that no, you shouldn't say that, you should thank God for everything, it happens for a reason. Yeah, but when I talked about it, I realized how not in control of my fate I was.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that brought me stronger, made my faith stronger, and it brought me closer to God.
Yeah.
So like there are so many spiritual reasons, and there are I gained so much from this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Physically, spiritually, psychologically, I'm much stronger. I speak about my feelings more open.
Yeah. When people get a diagnosis like cancer, sometimes they're angry at God. They say, why me? I'm a good person. Why did you strike me like this? How did you reconcile that perhaps anger or bewilderment with your love and your faith in God?
I still ask why me,
Mm.
believe it or not. I still
Yeah.
ask why me. But you still have to deal with whatever life throws at you.
Mm.
It strengthened me, and really, I realized that cancer is not the first calamity in my life.
Mm.
There are so other blessings in disguise that I faced before. And believe it or not, these calamities before cancer toughened me, or that's what I believe, or the conclusion I came to, that they all toughened me to be able to face something as strong as that. And it's not just strong, it is also confusing. So I have to fight so many ways with the kids, with my husband, with my friends, with myself, with my job, with everything. So I have to go everywhere and fight cancer. And really, the blessing in disguise,
Mm.
blessings in disguise that I faced before cancer toughened me and prepared me to face cancer. And I think cancer toughened me even more and prepared me probably to face whatever life is gonna bring in the future. I don't know. But
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
grateful. I'm grateful that it brought me closer to God. It brought me closer to my feelings. It made me express myself more and better and use better, clearer words to express myself.
Yeah. Somebody once said to me, life is hard. And once you accept the fact that life is hard, it becomes easier.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And I think that's what you've learned along the way, that the struggles that we face, the challenges that we face, the hurdles that we clear, each thing makes us stronger. So we're ready for that next battle, that next challenge. And you have done so with a lot of grace. And we thank you for that. We thank you for sharing your story. The name of the book is When Hard Lilies Cry. It's an amazing story. It is Manal's personal story of her battling not one, but two cancers while preventing two more
yes,
rather. And
yes,
she shares her fears, her struggles, her triumphs. And her narrative is one that goes beyond survival. It goes to exploring the emotional and psychological battles that are faced when confronting one's own mortality, the impact on family, and the strength you can find during the most vulnerable of times. Manal, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate your time. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.